Today is Wednesday, 4th, 2026. The time is now promptly 7 p.m. I'm going to call this council regular session to order. If you would all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
United States, which contains one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Perfect. All right, so that puts us into visitor comment. Now is the time for visitor comments. This visitor comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Please address your comments to the mayor and the council members. The city council will take all input into consideration. Please limit your to 3 minutes or less. Keep it at 3 minutes or less, because it looks like there's a lot of public comment, 3 minutes or less. In observance to the Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't a time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Responses to visitor comments, if needed, will be published at the next city council regular session packet. And when you come, please put your information on the back of the room in case staff needs to follow up with any questions that you may have or explanations. And when you come up, please state your name for the record. With that, we will take our first public comment.
Okay, Steve Toski. Okay, I'm back to talk about whether we should be putting anything on the ballot, and I'm coming back to say no on that. Coming back to talk about ethics. The city officials shall promote public respect by avoiding even the appearance of impropriety. I don't think that our mayor should be sitting on a podcast as in her representative capacity as the mayor of City St. Helens with the placard mob boss underneath her name. And especially at a time where our police union went on a labor shortage and strike during the election, which smacks of racketeering. And I think that what we should be saying to Mr. Walsh is you need to go back and run your departments within the budget we gave you. And we are not going to be going back to our people for more money until and unless you can demonstrate to us in a meaningful way why it is needed, how it is needed, and how we are going to be able to logically go to our people that they should part with more of their hard-earned dollars for our government. Right now, there's government mismanagement, and there's the appearance of impropriety, and there is the definite too close connection of things, some things driving our government decisions, and a person should not be involved in them. I don't care what she says about where she is talked to, about her lawyers or whatever. We need to be in charge of the ethics of our city, and we need to be making the appropriate decisions. Whistleblowing is appropriate on unlawful or improper actions. People who come to the government and say, you are over the line, you should release public records involving impropriety, are doing the right thing. Joe Hogue, who says, I've been retaliated against because I turned my boss in for corruption, is doing the right thing. These are the ethical principles in writing of our government. And I'm asking you, Councillor Sundin, you, Council President Jilton, you, Mark Gunderson, and you, Russell Hubbard, to hold these ethics laws paramount, that we can reverse the course of our city, which is one that we continue to be brought into light of shame. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's a bad thing for our mayor to be portraying herself as a mob boss on podcasts and saying things which are going to get the city sued by falsely accusing people of theft. So in the meantime, tonight's the night whether you decide to put something on the ballot to try to, for us to decide whether we should be raising the taxes. Again, that's something that should come from the budget committee upon sober and careful reflection.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Robin, nope. Just make sure. Next public comment.
My name is Jim Coleman, St. Helens, Oregon. I'm kind of doing this on a spur of the moment thing because I watched the afternoon work session and I went, oh my God. So let me see if I can make this work. Bear with me. Now I'm gonna get a quote from Chat GPT, which is the smartest lady I know. I use her quite regularly. I'll ask this question here and see what I get for an answer. Bear with me. This is,
So just reach out whenever you're ready and I'll be here to help.
she's right there for me. Does the city of St. Helens, Oregon have a procedure in place for public involvement when passing a new ordinance? Thank you.
Yes, the city of St. Helens, Oregon definitely has a public involvement procedure that they typically hold public hearings and allow residents to provide feedback either in person at city council meetings or through written comments. This ensures that the community has a voice in the decision-making process.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, this didn't work. Did everybody hear that?
We can hear it.
So my comment is on this ordinance for the ATVs, and I apologize for all the ATV lovers in the room. I am opposed to this ordinance. But I don't feel we have followed our city process. She went and announced it on her personal public Facebook page. We're gonna have this ordinance, and she got the ball rolling there. Well, that's not public input. That's not given public notice. I say public notice is you put an article in the newspaper and say, we're gonna be having this ordinance come up, and the people will have a chance to comment on it. And you present the ordinance for people to read and see to allow comment. I don't think we've done that. Example of that is at today's work session, I heard the attorney read to you a revised ordinance that she redlined and the attorney changed to meet the red lines. Well, I haven't read it. I heard some of the stuff and I went, well, you're not going to have registration. You don't know who these people are. So have we looked at the new ordinance? Has the public seen the new ordinance? Have you, Mr. Counselor, seen the ordinance that you're going to say yay or nay to here in 30 minutes? You're going to say yes or no. Have you seen it? Yes. I haven't seen it. The attorney read it today. Is there a copy?
Packet. Sorry, your time is up at 3 minutes, so.
I could read it when I walk in the door.
It's in the packet, but I do appreciate your comment, but we have to move on because your 3 minutes is up, but I appreciate that. And I also like the accent on your Chat GPT. I like the accent on your Chat GPT too.
Can you change that?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't use it, so I don't.
Good evening, council, fellow citizens, mayor. Thanks for being here. I guess I'll keep my time short, but I'm gonna touch base on a few things. First of all, I'm not in support of further taxes in our city. I think we should be fiscally conservative with our budget and move forward that way. Taxes are high enough in the state, and anything else is gonna affect people on fixed incomes. Secondly, I am in support of the ordinance to annex the zone off Sykes Road for residential development. It's a close neighbor to my house, and I think it'd be good for that area and expanding city assets such as police patrols and whatnot. And then I'll use the rest of my time for the UTV ordinance or side by sides, whichever you prefer. There's a few outside. I welcome people to take a look at them. I stopped at Columbia Motorsports this afternoon to do my research because I don't own one, but I'd like to have one. If this ordinance passes, I think I'm in favor of it. I think having a family and making memories with your kids, it'd be a neat idea. There's other cities in the state of Oregon and across the West Coast that allow it. So that's cool. I think it also would be good for anyone with disabilities. It's a mobility thing. So saying no to this is denying people their mobility. If it's their way of transportation, they're somewhat affordable, cheaper than Some cars, they're expensive too, but anyone that spends that type of money is gonna take care of them and obey traffic laws, and they're not gonna want to get a ticket. As far as the safety of them, when I was at Columbia City Motorsports, they all have safety harnesses. Some have 5-point harnesses, some have seat belts. It's about $500 to make them street legal, to put lights and a horn on them. So you got your blinkers and stuff. I think as long as everything is done safely, I think that's important. They also, the majority of them have roll cages. So a roll cage, I don't know, you guys are probably familiar, it's the iron bars that go around the car. Prevents crumpling of the vehicle. So I was a volunteer firefighter for a while and volunteered at the racetracks. All those cars there have roll cages and 5-point seatbelts, and they wore helmets. And fortunately, there isn't very many serious injuries with those. This would be obviously lower speed since it's in the city limits, but that's pretty much all I have. And before anyone else speaks, I invite them to look outside and take a look at them. So thank you.
Did you fire that thing up for us?
They're not as loud as I thought they were.
By the way, I drive a Jeep Wrangler, so I definitely know what a roll cage is.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Emily Riley and I'm a citizen of St. Helens, Oregon. I've been part of the UTV community for the past 5 years, making my own purchase in 2021 from our local Honda shop, Columbia River Motorsports. The UTV community, like St. Helens, is a great community, full of people that are willing to go out of their way to help you. I've been to Utah, Idaho, Central Eastern Oregon, as well as Washington, where I've driven my UTV on the road. Our UTV is insured and we have abided by all local laws where we have visited. Excuse me. I work in Washington and I usually see a handful of UTVs on the road during my work week. I think being able to drive my UTV within city limits would be great. Not only would it save me the grief of telling my husband no in the summer when he wants to cruise with our local Highway 30 cruisers, I would also like to have the option to drive it to the store when we get one of those rare snowstorms. It would also be fun to drive on a hot summer day to our local small town ice cream shop. Some might argue about the bad apples, but I believe that comes with anything with 2 or 4 wheels. I believe that as long as you are a licensed driver, your UTV has insurance and is street legal, we should be able to drive locally. Change is the only constant, and I believe this change is good. Thank you.
Joe Hall, 14-year resident of St. Helens, Oregon. After seeing this ordinance come into play, snowstorm we had a few years ago, we had a lot of problems with ice storms and, with vehicles getting off the road. How many times in my neighborhood, vehicles in the ditch, stuff like that. This is a great opportunity for those type of emergencies. And as I forget what her name was, just said, few bad apples, there's few bad apples in every bunch. As long as they're insured, licensed, bonded, or whatever, the committee says it needs to be done, I'm all for it, especially on emergency situations where you need to get around town, you need to get prescriptions. I mean, I physically, with my 4-wheel drive, was running for my neighbors, getting their prescriptions, getting their food, stuff like that. Makes it a heck of a lot easier and a lot safer, because that's what these vehicles are made for, is this type of environment, this type of terrain. And plus, whenever people coming from Portland see the small town atmosphere, that's what I like about St. Helens, the small town atmosphere. The community, the farmers, the ranchers, the outdoor folks. That's why I bought a house in St. Helens. That's why I'm going to continue to live here, because of the small town atmosphere. Yep.
Next comment? Anybody else? All right.
My name is Paul DeShazer, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for being here this evening. I'm a multi-generational member of this community, and this is my first time speaking before the council. I'm here tonight because I strongly support the side-by-side ordinance that many citizens, myself included, are asking you to approve. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity you've given us to bring this ordinance forward for listening to residents who deeply care about our community. I believe this ordinance would be well received by many citizens, and I have personally seen a great deal of support for it throughout the community. While there may be a small group of individuals who consistently oppose this effort and dismiss supporters with negative labels such as uneducated hillbillies, I respectfully ask you to take those comments with a grain of salt. The opposition I've heard has been largely based on opinion rather than clear facts or evidence showing that this ordinance would negatively impact our community. There are already other municipalities that have adopted similar ordinances, including the city of Rainier, with discussions expanding these policies countywide. These examples show that such ordinances can be implemented responsibly. Modern side-by-side vehicles are well engineered and include significant safety features such as roll cages, pole harnesses, impact protection, reinforced seating, and more. To those who argue they are unsafe, I would ask, if safety alone were the deciding factor, would we also prohibit motorcycles or vehicles like the Can-Am Spyder from operating on our streets? I can speak for myself, and I believe many others who support this ordinance would agree. We are not asking for permission to be reckless. We simply want the opportunity to operate these vehicles responsibly while following the same basic safety rules that apply to all motorists. If someone intends to break the law, the type of vehicle they are driving will not change that. I respectfully ask you to consider passing this ordinance tonight for the benefit of our community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Any other comments?
This is the photo.
Oh my gosh, my hair looks so good in that picture.
That's the, I don't have one for you.
No, it looks great.
So I figured you knew about it.
Call me the mob boss, that's right. That's right, when you call the council, when you call fucking idiots, remember?
So the, and you're of course violating your own policy about making
Can you take-
comments
correct.
public. Brady Prehart.
Thank you.
And you're of course violating your comments about public comments as usual. City should hold her accountable for
Just
that as
second.
well. You have an ethics policy and you also read a statement that specifically says her harassment of public comments isn't going to be tolerated. So why do you? In addition, she says in that video that when she's wearing her jacket, she is officially representing the city and she's there with a mob boss sign. I don't find it amusing. Neither should you. I just want to talk a little bit about the failures of Jennifer Massey. When she came in, she was going to move public comments to the evening, repealed, that didn't work. She read a stupid statement that caused people to be outraged by it, multiple people, that was reversed. She was going to have Hometown Heroes canceled, 24/7 coverage, which she ran on. We no longer have. Why was it that when 24/7 happened, stopped before, that was reason for John and the mayor to resign? But now that it's happening on your watch, that's just nothing. We're not even going to talk about it, pretend it's not happening. The budget is planning to balance it by putting something on the water bill or asking for a permanent tax increase. It is not going to pass. No one is going to voluntarily vote for a tax increase. That is stupid. You're going to have to learn to live within your budget, cut whatever you need to do. As far as the ATV and comments that have been made, I've already been opposed to it. My biggest opposition is the expense it's going to cause the city when we literally don't have money to finish the fiscal cycle without cutting something, and you're adding an additional expense. I think that's ridiculous that you're planning that and the cost that will be involved. In addition, if you Google ATVs and ask ChatGPT, they will tell you that insurance rates goes up in municipalities where you allow street access for ATVs. And finally, just as a comment to Paul, glad he's wearing clothes because he used to like to ride around his motorcycle naked. I hope he doesn't plan on doing that in his ATV.
Next public comment.
Jeff McDonald. St. Helens. Jeff McDonald.
Yes.
Yeah, here I am.
Left.
In flash. So all these negative comments that keep coming out about these with the insurance going up, with safety things, what you guys have implemented into your ordinance is already on these machines. We're not bringing out a 1971 dune buggy. All right, we're bringing out side by sides. I travel all over the United States for my work. And one of the things that we do is we actually use these machines, emergency purposes. I actually build them for emergency purposes. And people's comments is just, it's blowing me away. Because they are not educated on the machine itself. It has nothing to do with people coming out, wanting to get sideways. Believe me, I have 4 of these machines. I have 2 of them that are built for the dunes, and I have 2 of them that you take in the woods or just go cruise around with. I'm not going to take mine that are built for the dunes and run them on the road. Okay, they are loud, they are obnoxious. I highly doubt that anybody who owns one of these machines is going to take and run the piss out of them going up and down and only being able to do 35 miles an hour. It's not going to happen. I see them in Utah, and I've got pictures of, like I said, all over the country. And Utah, Arizona, you're running them 80 miles an hour down the interstate. Totally safe. I mean, it all comes down to the driver. That's what it comes down to. And with everybody that's around here that has these machines or wants to get these machines, that's great. It's awesome. As far as the city having an expense, the only thing that I've seen in your guys' thing was just maybe putting some signs up. I don't see that being a huge expense for the city. I mean, and if you guys need help with that, reach out. You know, if it's gonna crush the city in their budget, reach out. I'd be glad to help pay for that, to make this go through. And I'm sure everybody behind me would. So just some food for thought for you guys. It's something to think about in your guys' decision. And I hope that you guys take a lot of other people's opinions, even the negative ones, because you got to give them their thing on it. But like I said, it's more of an ignorant thing, being that they don't know about the machines. And a lot of it is being directed towards the mayor. It's not even about the machines. Just my opinion on it. Thank you, guys.
Pauline DeShazer, and I wasn't going to speak, but given the dialogue this evening, I feel like I need to. First off, I'm really jealous that you are mob boss. I was the daughter of Charles Manson at one point when I was a sitting board commissioner by the same individual. I would really like to. Had to get that out there. He attacked my kid tonight, so I kind of had to get out here. Really, you know, I spent 16 years as a port commissioner, and there are a couple of individuals in this community that spent a great deal of time trying to dismantle every positive thing that the port commission ever did. And so I know you guys are under a lot of pressure by the community. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of lawsuits, all kinds of crazy things, but really please, I want to really impress upon you guys to not take the same kind of pressure that we did at the Port Commission and cave when you're trying to make good decisions for the community. This is a good decision to bring this UTV thing into the community. There are a lot of people that I know personally. My neighbor actually, who can't get his driver's license, but he can drive. And I'm surprised he's not here tonight. Maybe he is, I just haven't seen him. But this gives access to people who have disabilities that can't otherwise get transportation, among other things. We're a small rural community. This is a positive thing. All of the ChatGPT stuff, if we're relying on that for our information, then we're already failing. So start doing your own research, use your brains. And again, Jen, I just want to say I'm really jealous that you're the mob boss, because
Yeah.
Good evening, Mike Cotton. I think everybody here has pretty much made the point that I was gonna make and touched on everything. I will say one thing, basically, I hear it quite a bit. The only difference between a side by side and a Jeep is a side by side will go anywhere. It's a joke. I might need an S.
Low blow. Blow.
Yes, I do respect all of you up here. I haven't been to a council meeting in years. I was a member of the J.C.'s back in the day, and so we did a lot of work with the city council and permitting and the porta funds and stuff. And amazing, have the utmost respect for you on some of the attitudes that you have to put up with. With that said, I think that everybody in this room is an advocate for this sport. I've been in it for almost 15 years. I've had several different machines along the way. They're very safe. I have equipped mine with aftermarket gear to make them even safer, which I think a lot of people have as well. And I just want to thank the council for considering this ordinance and it'll be passed. Thank you.
Pete Despain. I was here a few months ago representing Columbia River Motorsports as one of the owners. Many of you know Gary, and thank you for all the support from the community. Appreciate that. I can't pass up a minute of at least turning to my customers and saying thank you. Appreciate that. I really appreciated some of the comments around, education and what needs to happen. We invite everyone, come into the store, sit down, play with it. We have an open policy that we allow customers come in, take them for a little bit of a test drive inside of our parking lot. But we are looking forward to the opportunity to be able to serve the community even more as this ordinance moves forward. We obviously are in full support of it. We're ready, as I said before, to be able to make things street legal as necessary and help guide and counsel those who are very interested in learning more about this sport. That's something that we do. And we are just excited for the opportunity for St. Helens to embrace it as we sell all over, not only the southwest part of Washington, but also the northwest side of Oregon, and have that opportunity to continue to drive it forward. And we see it expanding at a very nice pace for many of the cities. As a native Arizonan, myself, been up here for 20 some odd years, but I do go home to Arizona a lot and do see those 85 miles per hour going around. That one concerns me a little bit. But I don't think Highway 30 is going that fast, and I know the way the city is set up that we won't be seeing that. But I do believe that our customers that we have are very responsible for what they do. They know how to get out of jams when they're in the sand, when they get stuck. Sometimes we get calls, but they are very responsible with their own safety and how they're trying to. Now, of course, there's always some very adventurous individuals, but you don't see that on the city streets. And we're looking forward to helping the community where we need to with the education side of things and also making these units as safe as possible. Thank you.
Tammy Magra. I'm not going to talk about the side-by-sides. What I want to talk about is the lawsuit that was filed against the city of St. Helens. It's called Merrick versus the city of St. Helens, which the city of St. Helens lost. And now the city is in contempt of court with fines every day. How many times does the city have to be sued for public records and not release them when people ask for public documents? You talk about you can't make payroll, you're gonna have furlough days, layoffs, and every day you're being fined, adding up to thousands of dollars a month. What is wrong with you people? Start doing your job, releasing the records, cut the lawsuits. Public has a right to have access to public records. It's their records, they're not yours. And people go through the process, release them. All I have to say. Else? Grace.
Get up faster than that.
Yeah, sorry. Lance Tillotson, and I was here earlier, but they are always taking away rights. Like my old hometown, you can't skateboard no more. This, that, they always do something. It'd be a good chance to give us a new thing, sometimes go the other way. And you know, in that snowstorm that they were talking about earlier, my neighbor was coming out, or she was out at her mailbox she was around 80 years old, and she was about ready to crash and burn. And I happened to be in my side by side that night. And I just pulled right over to her through the berm and everything and said, hey, why don't you climb in instead of hurting yourself? And it was a great convenience. I was able to drop her right off at her front door. And just, it seems like it'd be a good thing overall. I suppose that's all I have, but thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Levi DeShazer. I'd like to offer a perspective on the use of UTVs or side-by-sides on our city streets. While these vehicles are often associated with rugged terrain, and I want to clarify how they function in a regulated urban environment and why they are safe additions to our roads. The common concern is how these vehicles are managed. It is important to remember that UTV operators are subject to this exact same traffic laws as any other driver. Law enforcement will monitor them with the same scrutiny, and the fines and repercussions for misuse remain identical for those for a standard passenger car. We aren't asking for an exception to the rules, we're asking to be able to follow them. I see no difference between what's already on the road with Jeeps, Blazers, Samurais, or other roadworthy off-road capable vehicles. The UTV community is defined by a culture of high-level maintenance because these machines represent a significant personal investment. Owners tend to be more diligent with safety checks than your average commuter. Many owners go above and beyond factory standards by upgrading to 4-point safety harnesses rather than the standard 3-point harness. Installing onboard fire extinguishers, reinforced roll cages, equipping vehicles with full turn signals, horns, mirrors as required by the ordinance. Furthermore, these are stable four-wheeled machines. They do not share the stunt profile of dirt bikes. They are designed for control and utility and not for mischief some might fear. With the mandatory online safety courses, licensing requirements, and strict equipment standards already outlined in the ordinance, including helmets and eye protection, we have a framework that prioritizes public safety. I believe that by passing this, we are supporting a group of responsible, safety-conscious citizens. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, council. My name is Patrick Cleary, resident of St. Helens. I'm here tonight to urge a yes vote on ordinance 3320, also known as a side-by-side ordinance, because it represents a major victory for our community. You can see the turnout. I think it's great. Unlike those who attend every meeting out of habit, we, the residents who stepped away from our lives tonight specifically, because this issue matters to us. I'm going to keep it short. Please recognize our support and pass this ordinance. Thank you.
My name is Mercedes Massey. I've had a front row seat to see how some adults in this town choose to behave even when everyone is watching. And because everyone is watching, spreading misinformation, unverified claims like it's a sport isn't just wrong, it's irresponsible. When adults make accusations without reading the ordinance, when they post dramatic claims that don't match the facts, it doesn't just create noise, it erodes trust. It wastes time and it teaches the next generation that being loud matters more than being accurate. If you care enough to comment, then care enough to be factual. This ordinance has been reviewed by law enforcement, the Joint Planning Commission. The process was followed. Yet online, we see no credible, fact-based arguments about operations, decibel enforcement, or the legal reality of crossing a single signalized intersection. I support the side-by-side ordinance. It's not a need, but it's a want, and many citizens have asked for it. At a time where families are paying more in taxes and costs keep raising, why is it automatically bad to give people a chance to responsibly use something they worked hard for within clear boundaries? Sometimes a win for the citizens is just a win, and this is one of them. I also want to be clear about my mom. She had no personal stake in this issue. She did the research. She gave her word that she would, and she doesn't break her word. That's leadership, not chasing applause, but doing the work anyways. I'm not disappointed by disagreement. That's democracy. I'm disagreeing disappointed by how some adults choose to behave while disagreeing. While I shared factual information online, it became personal. I was called a poor excuse for a daughter, a loudmouth, messy, among other things. Let's pause on that for a second. Really? A grown man talking to a young adult woman like that over a city ordinance? But the fact that a young adult is trying to be involved, trying to be excited about something positive, gets personally attacked, like it's beyond inappropriate, it's grotesque. And this is exactly why young people don't want to get involved. Adults say they want youth engagement, fresh voices, and new energy. But the moment someone younger speaks up, the response is ridicule and personal attacks. If you disagree, debate the ordinance, bring the facts, bring the legal or operational concerns, bring something real. But if your first move is to insult or demean, you're not protecting this community. You're driving the next generation away from it. The same adults who preach respect and anti-bullying often model the opposite online. Kids are watching, students are watching, and adults are watching too. So here's my ask. Read the ordinance, debate the facts, and ask the hard questions. Hold leaders accountable with truth, not rumors. Support it or oppose it. That's your right. But stop treating misinformation like entertainment, because when adults act like facts don't matter, they don't just damage policy discussion, they damage a community. So I ask you, council, on behalf of the citizens, clearly here to support this tonight, that you please consider passing it. Thank you.
Robin Kowski, citizen of St. Helens, giving my time to.
Thank you. So I wanted to point out a few things about ethics and how we make decisions. And I think it's great that all these people are here to support something that they want. Making a commitment before a decision is made is no way that our representatives should be doing business here. And the statement just made was somebody made a commitment, somebody's gonna make a commitment to get a law passed. And then what I want to point out to this group here, that thunderous applause for what was stated, is how the insults were hurled at people who simply are coming forward to maybe disagree with the stand. And that's what we're getting from our mayor. Anybody who wants to come forward and say, we've got conflicts of interest, she's interfering, she's making bad decisions, our finances are being mismanaged, and there are factual things that are stated are being belittled. And the attack is to say, because you have a factual opinion, the person is attacked. So what we just saw was personal attacks on people who simply are taking a contrary point of view. The only point of view that I know of that anybody has really expressed against these side-by-sides is the potential for injury and damage when these vehicles are involved in accidents with motor vehicles. And that's a serious consideration. And that's a risk that if this council should go forward with this ordinance, that they're saying we're willing to take. And the statistics are that when side-by-sides and ATVs are involved with motor vehicles, the people inside of them tend to be injured more severely. And if the council decides that's worth the risk, go forward with it. And these folks understand, sounds like they've all got ATVs and side-by-sides. They know the risks that they're going to take, and it sounds like they want to do them responsibly. But let's make sure that we stick to the facts and not be attacking people simply because they have a different point of view. But when somebody comes forward with valid arguments and valid statements about factual things that have been found in investigations that we have paid for and have been concluded by news organizations that have published facts, let's make sure we continue to take those into account. And again, I'm going to come back and ask you guys to censure on the subjects that it's appropriate to do. So thank you.
Welcome. State your name for the record, please. Melissa Warner, resident of St. Helens. I just want to say you guys are doing a great job, and that this ordinance, I'm for it. I think it's something positive for not only our community, but this town. When
we're negatively in the news sometimes lately. This is a good thing for all of us. I think that the responsibility and the anything happens that we're fully insured, we have all the, you know, the responsibilities on us. So to follow the law. Thank you.
Hello.
Well, Taylor DeShaw, resident of St. Helens. There may be some concerns with accidents with these side-by-sides or injuries. I'm here to say, I shot off a 20-foot drop-off in a side-by-side last summer doing 60 miles an hour. My side-by-side had a stock cage, a stock harness, and I walked away from that night with no scratches or scrapes. Vehicles are safe as long as we're allowing motorcycles, street bikes, things that do well over 100 miles an hour with zero protection on the streets. I don't see how there should be any way you should not let this ordinance go through. As long as we abide by law, we're not asking to go down the highway speeds. This is strictly for around town, back roads, speed limits of 25, 35 miles an hour. I don't see how you guys couldn't pass this. Thank you.
Right. We good? Want to make sure anybody online, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay.
Amy Nevin.
Amy, can you hear us?
Nevin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
Can you state
great.
your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Amy Nevitt. I want to speak to the ordinance for the side-by-sides. I'm going to be really unpopular here, but I'm okay with that. I really appreciate that people are saying this is going to be fun for their family. It's going to create memories. These are great things to do. They build community. I like that. I don't have anything personally against the use of off-road vehicles. But if you're going to buy an off-road vehicle, go ride it off-road. I don't see why we are placing such an emphasis on what people want to do to have fun when there's so much going on in the world that is more important than you getting to have fun on the roads. Like I said, this will be unpopular, but I'm willing to be that, to stand up and say, there's no good reason to pass this ordinance other than some people want it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else online?
Yeah. Just a minute.
You're doing great, Kathy. As always.
Nick Helmick.
Hello, this is Nicholas Helmick, City of St. Helens. Just want to say for the record, we have a lot more bigger pressing issues than side-by-sides on city streets. But with that being said, the way I kind of look at it, and I know I've was kind of talked about this, but live and let live. I don't need the government to make me safe. I make myself safe. It's not the government's job to make me safe. I just truly feel like that. I would say pass the ordinance. If people want to do it, they can do it. It's kind of like owning a gun. If you don't want to own a gun, don't buy one. Don't prevent other people from doing that. And I know it's probably comparing apples to oranges in a sense, but I kind of look at it the same. I'll never drive an ATV on the road just because I don't want to, but I'm not going to let my personal opinion prevent someone doing what they want to do to travel free in this country. We're starting to become a nanny state living in Oregon. We always look for the government for protection. There's a saying, there ought to be a law. And I feel like that's really made a lot of weak individuals and a lot of weak stances on this whole ordinance. And that's not to say that people who disagree with me are weak or anything like that, but I think overall, if you look to the government to protect you, you're looking at the wrong entity to protect you. You have to protect yourself. So that's all. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else? Okay, so we have ordinance. We have the first reading. So we have ordinance number 3319, an ordinance to annex and designate the zone of certain property located between the northern terminus of Morton Lane and the south side of Sykes County Road. Do you want to do these separate? And then we don't have to do anything for that one. We're gonna have to.
Both?
Yeah.
First readings.
And then the second one is ordinance number 3320, an ordinance authorizing the operation of class 4 all-terrain vehicles on the streets located within St. Helens, Oregon, and providing a penalty for violation of thereof. Okay. So, yeah, I'll explain. First ordinance, that basically just means.
First reading.
The first reading, exactly. Thank you. That just means that we don't need to vote on it or anything of the sort.
It will have to come back again many times.
One more time, and it would be effective 30 days after adoption. So after,
You're not gonna hear
after
us tomorrow.
February 8th. Yeah, February 18th. If it's adopted.
Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, but you're, come again?
30 days to save for UTV.
30 days to save, exactly, but we appreciate you guys all being here and it's really helpful to see people show up like you did. I will also just clarify the record because I don't like misinformation that my commitment was to cases in here that I'm just like now actually seeing too that wanted this and my commitment was to do everything possible to bring an ordinance for the council to review. That is what it is. And again, correcting misinformation, I never made a commitment that I was going to pass anything. It was, I was going to make the effort and fulfill my obligation on my commitment to bring it forward to council, which is exactly what I did. But again, misinformation is generally something that we're trying to combat. So that is that for the record. So we have our first reading. And then now for award. So I don't know if you guys want to stay for the rest of the stuff. You're more than welcome because we love people here, but we're not going to vote on it. So you guys, it'll just go through the process.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. I didn't know if everybody wanted to just get up
No,
and
you're
leave.
welcome to stay
Yeah,
if you want to
I
hear.
thought
about other
everybody's
stuff.
staying. I kind of figured. So we wanted to make sure.
Some commitment.
Clear the room.
I'm sure they were disappointed that we weren't even
Yeah.
voting on it. Come to the next meeting. I thought we were until I just read.
Why is
first
it that we
reading.
are? Why is it that we weren't voting on it?
It has to be, it has to go through first reading first, right?
I don't know why we had, like, why did we have to have first reading on it? I thought we were voting on the final resolution or the final ordinance tonight.
That's not the way we do it, and that's not my understanding of why we wouldn't have done final.
There was some urgency, you could have done it in one reading, we have to advertise at 7.
The same thing again next month, like that part of. We have to do it like that?
Let's do emergency ordinances.
No, we don't.
And we
do
don't
that.
want it, it's not an
No.
emergency and we don't want people.
No, we don't want to do
Hearing that
that.
of her.
And this is another area where we have that opportunity for people to see it on the agenda and come in.
Exactly. Jim, I'm like, Jim,
It's been on here. We've been talking about it. He's been on social media. He's seen it. It's been published. Okay, so let's move ahead. So award bid contract number 3, award bid to authorize mayor to sign contract with Common Ground Excavation LLC for Railroad Avenue South First Street Water Main and Replacement Project number W 485 in the amount of $229,908.94.
I'll make a motion to award that bid and contract as read.
We have a motion second, Counselor Sundin, Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard. Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
All right, we have approved and authorized for signature. Final partition plat for 80 South 21st Street. Number 5, agreement with St. Helens School District for mutual use of facilities, excuse me.
Motion to approve and authorize for signature line items 4 and 5 is read.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
And I'm SI as well. Consent agenda for acceptance. We have number 6, ratify agreement with Christine Landers for pro term prosecutorial services.
I'll make a motion to approve for acceptance the consent agenda item number 6 as read.
Second.
We have a motion second, Counselor Sundin. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
Got it. Number.
What's your vote, Mayor?
Oh, I'm an aye as well. Thank you. I got all tripped up on Harvard.
I know.
Counselor, consent agenda for approval, number 7, OLCC licenses, number 7, and then 8, accounts payable bill list.
Motion to approve consent agenda items 7 and 8.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton. Aye. Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. We have 2 work session items.
Yep.
All right.
I move to direct staff and legal counsel to prepare an ordinance to adopt a municipal services fee to refer to the voters on the May 19th, 2026 ballot, which is to be used for general fund staffing, programs and services in police, library, parks, recreation, community development, administration, and municipal court to maintain current services and create a 20% reserve, which is the minimum reserve best practice.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. Counselor, any discussion?
Discussion?
Okay.
So the fee will be for all ADUs,
EDUs.
EDUs, I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, including the
Yep.
Leaf Harbor.
Mhm.
That was it.
Mhm. Yep, every single connection.
That's for the 24 I didn't quite hear that. That's,
It was for the 20% reserve.
oh, the higher.
Be like 36.
Might have an issue with that.
Okay, well, you can place your vote.
Will.
I just want it to be clear too, that this isn't a decision that because we say so tonight, this is happening, but what's happening is it's allowing us to refer to the voters to make the choice, whether that's something that they.
We had agreed to earlier anyway, or anything that would happen to that. So, yeah.
And due to the timeline, we'll have the special meetings.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the city attorney. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to, I want to clarify what I hear people saying is that you are voting to direct the city administrator to prepare an ordinance for additional review and public comment at a special meeting. And at that special meeting, it's a ordinance being reviewed and prepared for your review and then passage at that time. So you're not voting to refer a measure to the voters tonight. You're just directing the city administrator to place this item on a special meeting agenda in the near future. Thank you.
So, any other discussion? Okay, so we have a motion, a second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Then we, okay,
The next one is we have an leak adjustment request at 2250 Gable Road, which is. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to deny the leak adjustment at 2250 Gable Road.
Second.
got a motion, second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. All right, and that takes us into council reports. Do we have a history lesson?
We don't, and I was gonna skip it completely, but one thing I will mention, we still have another meeting before this happens, but. Thursday, February 19th at McCormick Park, they'll be dedicating the wind phone that I mentioned.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, so February 19th at 10:30. Welcome to attend, probably remind you again at our next meeting.
President Chilton.
I don't have anything to report, Mayor.
Counselor Hubbard.
Daydreaming.
Do you have anything on your report?
No, daydreaming.
Okay. Counselor?
Couple things. We did meet with Romano Capital today. That was very good and moving forward. We hope to have something for you all to look at at the next meeting, John. Sure. Okay. And the second one was, we did that walk with the Milton Creek Reserve. Is that correct? It's really worth preserve. Pretty
It's really cool in there.
It's very
isn't
cool,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd seen from the outside looking in, but once you walk it, it's not really far. But it is pretty cool to see what went on there and, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. And the creek too on both sides, it's just a nice setting. I don't think you see an urban, well, like if you consider this urban, settings like that. So it's well worth looking at.
I don't really have anything today. I've already said a lot. Feel like I've been talking all day. I do want to, I mean, it's nice when we have citizens show up though. I think that it is nice when people want to get involved. That's what we're here for. So I do appreciate all their efforts and the time they spend. If they're passionate about something, then I think that's great. We've given them opportunity. But otherwise, I don't have anything else.